Welcome to Comically Comics, your one-stop listen to all things comics. We're talking books, movies, TV shows, video games, and more. I must forewarn you, though, we are a spoiler cast, and what that means is we consider all properties, past, future, and present, to be valid, and we will spoil the hell out of them. I'm your host, Michael, along with my two co-hosts, Richard and Jeremy, and with all that being said, let's get started. All right, it is Sunday, May the 4th. Be with you.
Hey. I'm doing that so that way we don't get copyright strike.
Did y'all celebrate May the 4th today?
No. I didn't.
No.
Honestly, I didn't realize
Nothing?
it. I didn't realize it until you just said it.
Oh, my God.
Which is ironic because I'm wearing my Dagobah shirt right now.
I watched the last episode of Ahsoka because I'd yet to finish it. So
Really?
I like the series. It's a good series.
Yeah, I liked it as well.
Considering, Dave Fillion and Jon Favreau had stuff to do with it. That's
Dave Filoni.
Probably why. Dave Filoni, thank you. Cool. Well, hope you enjoyed your May the 4th and celebrated today. If you're a nerd and you like Star Wars, if you're a Trekkie, I'm sorry. We're not here for either one of those, though. Thunderbolts came out this weekend. Good old Thunderbolts, y'all. Or bad old Thunderbolts.
That everybody knew about.
Everybody. Did y'all's theaters look empty?
I guess.
Yeah. Y'all went on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Richard went and got the senior discount
Yes.
movie. And then
You damn right it is. It's expensive to go to the theaters.
it really is.
That's why I went to the matinee showing.
Which I can only say that because I completely missed the old person joke that Michael did for the texting of that. I had to play catch up a little bit. But for my movie, I went it was like a 5:15 showing, and it was
you just barely missed matinee prices. What are you doing?
I was going to. It was one of those like studio movie grill theaters, like where you eat and watch the movie thing. I guess.
Yeah, we don't have that. Like the most we get is like an alcohol flavored icy.
Yeah, you got to bring your own alcohol for that.
Yeah.
At least for my
you can smuggle it in.
Do. Yeah, need a flask every time I go.
Yeah, but I would say ours was like maybe half full. But again, it was a 5:15 on.
Wow,
Not necessarily a really popular theater. So.
All right, then. Well, Thunderbolts.
Well, hang on. Mine was, we went to the 4. 1, it was cheaper, and 2, we didn't want to have to deal with like chicken jockey kids in there. In case there were. And it was not packed, but it wasn't empty. It was, it was very spread out, but there was like a good amount of people in there.
Nice. Okay. There was a good bit. We went on Saturday. There was a good bit of showings. We didn't go to the main big theater. We ate dinner at around 6 or so, close to 7. And at dinner, I was checking the theater to see how packed it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And we were the only tickets that had been pre-sold for that theater for that day, for that time.
Damn.
Really?
The only 2 seats. I was like, honey, we may have the entire theater to ourselves. We get there. Right?
Yeah.
We get there, and of course, people come in. So there was maybe, including us, 10 to 15 people in there.
Wow.
That was it.
That's crazy.
That was it. So.
It's pre-tariffs.
Thunderbolts, after finding themselves ensnared in a death trap, an unconventional team of antiheroes must embark on a dangerous mission that will force them to confront the darkest corners of their past. First appearances, Yelena Belova, Inhumans number 5 from 1999, Bucky Barnes / The Winter Soldier. We're going to do Captain America number 1 from 1941 as Bucky, and Captain America number 6, 2005 as The Winter Soldier, which Is he the Winter Soldier? Is he not? I don't know. We should talk about that. Valentina de Fontaine, Strange Tales number 159 from 1967, Century number 1 from 2000, Red Guardian, Avengers number 43 from 1967, U.S. Agent Captain America 354 from 1989, Ghost, Iron Man 219 from 1987, and Taskmaster, Avengers number 196 from 1980. Now, with all that being said, Jeremy, what is your whelming on this movie?
I will say I'm whelmed to pleasantly whelmed. Not that it was necessarily a bad movie. I enjoyed the movie. I thoroughly enjoy the actors that are in it, especially Elena and Red Guardian. It just was it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's basically like what it was to me. It was a good movie, and I would be, this one, whenever it comes out on streaming, I'll watch it again just for the fun of it. But not necessarily gonna like rush out to go see it again or anything like that kind of thing. So
I think you saying though that like you'd watch it again when it comes to streaming like says a lot. Like how often do we sit there and we do that where we're like, you know what, I'm ready for it to come out on streaming because like I'd watch it again. Like if it was,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So I think that does say a lot.
Yeah.
Richard, what is your whelming?
I wrote down I'm pleasantly whelmed. I'm definitely not overwhelmed. I may even be what Jeremy is, like whelmed to pleasantly whelmed, because like I don't really have much to say as far as my whelming. Like it was a fun and enjoyable movie, and I really liked it. I didn't love it. Like it felt like maybe it needed one more act, like somewhere in the middle. But because it felt very short, even though it was like a 2 hour and 6 movie, it felt very like, I guess it was well paced for that much. But yeah, I'll just say I'm pleasantly whelmed.
I'm gonna echo the pleasantly whelmed. I'm solidly pleasantly whelmed, and but there are lots of things that I love about this movie. I love the pacing of this movie. I was in there for 2 hours. It sure as hell did not feel like I was in there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I was interested the whole damn time. There was no points where I was like, this is dragging or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
I felt like this movie, the story was straight to the point, freaking took you through the story and came you out the other side. Like it was, I don't know. It checked a lot of boxes for me that I was just like, you know what? That's a good solid movie. So
the one thing I will say like that I was talking to my wife a little bit about it is like, I felt like the main big fight was a little too short. Like
which one?
The fight at the end, like whenever he's a void. Like,
okay, that one.
Like that to me, like I felt like that's what everything was. I mean, with the trailer, it felt like that was what the main big thing was going to be. And so we got to that, and don't get me wrong, I enjoyed that fight too, and I enjoyed the lesson behind it too. It just felt kind of short. So I don't know.
I think that's why I feel like it should have been another act. Like I feel like there should have been an act between where like he becomes Sentry, and then he goes to the Void. Like I feel like there should have been something else there. But other than that, like it like I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of nitpicking here. Like, yeah, it felt like there was just something missing there for me.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I really don't have any complaints with this movie. Like, I do feel like if I was to come out with a complaint, it would be like straight up nitpicking. Like, the only thing that I have to say that I would have liked to have seen more of, or maybe just given a chance, which believe me, as soon as I say this, I know y'all are going to come at me. I know every fucking nerd listening to this is going to come at me. I know. But I feel like they did Taskmaster dirty.
Oh, yeah.
my note there was like, well, looks like we were right. She got slip-knotted.
Not like I thought was going to happen, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was not expecting that.
No, because like whenever I was watching that, like I was, of course, I was trying to figure out like which ones were who, and that trying to remember all that. But I knew Ghost right offhand, and then I was like, I think that was Taskmaster, but she died within half a second. She was like a pretty formidable opponent in Black Widow, but now that's it. She's done.
And they were doing some cool stuff with her in that one little scene.
Yeah.
They did some cool mimic stuff with showing off her power. Where like she knew where that bullet was going every single time and had a shield right there. Like, yo, that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I like that with John Walker. She knew exactly where he was going to shoot, so she was just blocking it the entire time. That's one of the things I give mad props to this movie is the practical stunts and the fight choreography. Like, the fight choreography was really cool. Like, I love Ghost has a really cool shot. It was in one of the trailers, but seeing it like on the big screen was cool. Where someone throws a knife and she goes intangible and then catches it. Throws it. I was like, that's cool. I dig all the like cool knife work. You know, especially like Winter Soldier and stuff.
Yeah,
we had another one of his knife scenes against the Sentry. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Where he's like dropping it and shit. I was like, oh yes.
And then he goes to fire, and the Sentry just like teleports or super speeds away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Well, I was just like, before we get like too like off of that first, kind of just knowing people in that. No, you're fine. Like, because I wanted to kind of say this too, as far as like, if you haven't seen Captain America Winter Soldier streaming, and that's where what's his face Walker comes in, right?
You mean Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yes,
Falcon. Sorry, Falcon, not Captain.
That TV show. Yes.
I haven't seen that, and so like my wife was like, "Is he like a Captain America?" I was like, "Sure, I don't know. Like, I don't know who this guy is." Like,
I was curious. I was talking to my wife, and I was like, I'm very curious, since Jeremy has not seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, how he's going to like this movie. Because to me, I felt like there was enough exposition for you to get what you needed to know about John Walker. Of like, he was Captain America, and then he fucking murdered someone like with the shield out in public, and then he wasn't. And like, he's a big old asshole.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the gist I got from it. So like, I could kind of piece together, like I said, my wife was kind of asking about it, and I was like, I think he's from Falcon and Winter Soldier series. And I think he kind of came from that. And obviously I haven't seen that, so I don't necessarily know everything about him, but I could, obviously figure out he's just a wannabe Captain America that is not good.
Dime store Captain America.
Yeah.
Junior Varsity Captain America.
Yes, exactly.
The Temu or Alibaba version of Captain America.
AliExpress. Oh shit, that's funny. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but now that we're talking about it, does this make you want to go back and watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
No, not really. Because honestly, like, from these two movies, the Thunderbolts and Captain America, you know what happens pretty much. Roughly. You know Sam Wilson's Captain now and all that kind of stuff. Like, he's got the shield, and then this guy tried, but obviously couldn't hack it.
Yeah.
So
the only thing is,
but he got the serum and Sam didn't.
Yes. No. Yeah.
And Sam should have taken the serum.
He specifically took the serum. That was one of the things I was going to say. And then Bucky kind of comes to terms, and he's cured of his brainwashing, his like sleeper agent brainwashing. That's the biggest thing that they don't really say in the movie. I don't think they may say something about Walker, but for Bucky, there is no mention of like you can say those words now and they're not going to do a damn thing. To like, I'm basically cured.
Right. Well, and like, but they tried to hint at it in this movie here.
Yeah.
With the whole, like, my past and stuff like that, but like, I'm going to protect you, talking to Mel, who is Valentina's assistant and whatnot. So like, they're definitely trying to, looks like, progress Bucky's story along, but then they took like 2 steps back in this movie where he was senator for like half a term, and now he's not again. Like, I don't know Like, what's the point? What is the point with all the politics in this Marvel stuff? Because none of it matters. Like, we get one president in Secret Invasion who's gone, never to be talked about again.
We don't talk about that.
Right. We get another president in Brave New World who just now got talked about again, and now that's gone. That's done and over with. No more. Like, there is no president in the United States in the Marvel universe now, and God forbid you live in New York. Prices in New York for living have never been this cheap. Like, in any world or universe ever, that is the ghetto of the United States right there. Like,
my favorite thing about this movie was when they're in New York and they drive the U-Haul truck through the doors. And if you're I know you're supposed to be watching all the action, but if you watch the people in the background, people are still just walking by on on the streets, and people are driving their cars. There's one person who kind of looks over and then just keeps driving, and it's just I'm I guess that's supposed to be a comedy thing of they're just used to it now. They're oh, there's a superhero thing going on. Anyway, I got to get to work.
Yeah, they're desensitized.
It's honestly it makes you think of that whenever Captain America was coming out, the big commercial was the Tide commercial. They're like, oh, there's a red one now, kind of thing, and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, oh, where that guy gets all dirty, and they're like, oh, you must be new here because he didn't know to bring how to change. Well, it was Tide, so how to clean his clothes or whatever. But I was like, that really is just. You just got to go around ready for just whatever.
Oh, yeah.
There was even a scene with Alexei and Yelena talking, and they're just in their stuff, and they're just having this super emotional conversation, and people are just walking around them.
Yeah.
I feel like we've got a new trope now in the Marvel universe, by the way, and to add along with the brainwashing trope, and that is past emotional distress,
emotional trauma.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you were trying to say PTSD?
Either one.
Okay.
Both of them. Let's throw them both in there.
It's post-traumatic
stress disorder. Yes.
Yeah.
But both of them, because you've got Bucky's deal with his brainwashing, which that was another Marvel trope, the brainwashing, and you've got, of course, Louis Pullman in this one, the whole reason why the Void's somewhat there. And talking about his stuff. There was somebody else who had an emotional thing as well, and I can't remember who it was now.
Yelena.
Yeah, but there's another Vincent. Kingpin's emotional distress with his childhood and whatnot like that.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be now a recurring storyline we're just going to keep doing, is people and how they're emotionally damaged. So
yeah,
I like it. Bucky, to me, one of the things I liked with Bucky in this was he felt so I was looking at it from an addict perspective of Bucky is the recovered alcoholic, and he's trying to help all the other, because he's a villain that was reformed back into a good guy.
Yeah.
And now he's he's conquered all his inner demons, and now he's trying to help the other team to be that. It kind of looked like that's what his role was for this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the sponsor.
Yes, the sponsor. I wrote a note down here of the Sentry or the Void has the most powerful weapon of all, and that's the power to wield emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
I don't know enough about the Sentry. How far does that delve away from his comic book persona? This whole, when people disappear, he can make people disappear, they go into an emotional world or whatever, a black hole of depression.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, the Sentry part, I didn't know this, man, because I'm not a big Sentry fan.
Same.
He does have all those fucking powers, which I'm Jesus H. Christ, he's super powerful.
Even the telekinesis?
Yes, he can.
Wow.
Yeah, no, he is. Originally, he was created to be Marvel's Superman.
Yeah.
But this was before he was even incorporated into the Marvel universe.
Fuck.
And he was going to be more grounded than Superman, so he would have drug problems and mental issues and stuff like that. Matter of fact, the origin of him was he was looking to get high, broke into a facility, and took a drug that gave him superpowers. And it didn't get him high. It just gave him the Sentry powers.
Which is pretty what we got in the Thunderbolts, close to it, very close to it.
Yeah. But yeah, he has teleportation, super speed, flight, super strength, 9 vulnerability, telekinesis, photokinesis. In other words, he can do stuff with light. We saw him. He heated up like a gun at one point in the movie. The Void, on the other hand, is just like he turns into like a black version of himself, like a shadow creature, and he just has like tendrils, and he doesn't really use any of those powers. He just sort of like kills you with the tendrils or rips you in half. That was, since I brought it up, that was one of the things he does in the comics. I thought it was Loki. I think I've mentioned this before, but it was Ares. Looking up yesterday, he rips Ares in half during the Dark Reign storyline. Like, Norman Osborn orders the Sentry to destroy Asgard, and this is when Asgard is like on Earth. It's like whatever, 3 inches above like Oklahoma or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And Norman Osborn orders the Sentry to destroy Asgard, and Thor and Sentry are fighting, and then the Void comes out, and Ares like kind of gets in the way, and then he just tears Ares in half. And when I say in half, I don't mean horizontally, I mean vertically.
Oh wow.
It's fucking gory as shit. I was hoping we would see something like that, not as gory since it's only PG-13, but I was hoping like when he first turns into the Void and the security guards are like on the Avengers building and they start shooting at him, I was hoping he was going to fly and do that to one of them, but instead of like it being gory, they just like turn to shadow, but he's like ripped in half.
Okay, that would be a cool visual. Yeah.
But they didn't do any of that, so that kind of disappointed me. But I will say I love all the VFX. I'm kind of getting offhand here. Let me go back to the... No, his powers aren't that. That was one of my notes of like, I really dig the VFX and how they did the Void. Like, I love his little like glowy Jawa eyes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But all the powers that he did, as far as like sending you to like a shadow realm and you have to like face your inner demons, none of that, as far as I could find, is what he does in the comics.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if I like that or not. I mean, for the movie and like for what to do with the character later on, I kind of feel like I do like that. Like it's a nice little alternative, I guess, instead of just massacring people. Because I feel like it's different.
Yes.
I don't feel like we've seen anything like that before. Right. You know what I mean? Like this Shadowland.
Yeah.
So, but it also kind of makes me wonder, like, and I know this is kind of going into like where we're headed and stuff like that, but like, how is Robert Downey Jr. Doom gonna handle a character like Sentry or the Void?
Like as in controlling him or fighting him kind of thing?
Both.
If it's anything like Secret Wars and he gets the powers of the Beyonder, he could do it with like his hand behind his back.
I agree.
Like in that story, he ripped Thanos' skeleton out of his body.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Jeez.
But if it's just Doom, it would probably involve some sort of like hand wavy, like I built this device that separates Bob from the Sentry or the Void or something like that. And now he can't use his powers or whatever it may be. Or maybe he gets him high. Maybe he just holds a bag of meth.
And that's the chicken outfit.
I love that. They were fighting and they were like saying something. He's like, I'm sorry, I was on meth.
Yes. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right though. If he does, like, if Doom does get the powers of Beyond or something like that, like he's gonna be way powerful than Sentry. But man, that fight scene between the Sentry and the Thunderbolts, that was crazy. That was insane to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The visual effects almost look like a video game from like Injustice or something like that. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like just the way they moved the Sentry through the scene. Like he literally looked like it was a video game.
Yeah. Yeah, the VFX, there was one time where he was moving around that it looked a little bad, but for the most part, it was all good. I wanted more of that. I just wanted more of that before he
Mhm.
became the Void. I just wanted to see more of him doing Sentry things.
Yeah.
I don't like the blonde hair.
Yeah, it looks bad.
Oh yeah, that's
And I think they did that on purpose.
Yes, I do too. Well,
Just be like, look, y'all really don't want this. Y'all think y'all want this. Y'all really don't want this.
Well, it reminds me of Thor
What?
1, where they dyed his eyebrows
Yes.
blonde, and it just looks fucking terrible.
Yeah.
If you
I was actually
notice,
just because.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. You're good.
I was just saying, if you notice Chris Hemsworth's dyed blonde eyebrows in the first Thor, you can never unnotice them. They're
Yeah.
so fucking bad.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like I'm actually doing. We're going back and watching all the Marvels, but with my youngest son because I hadn't done that yet. And
Mhm.
when we watched Thor 1, I was like, holy cow, that's terrible. Like just what they did to his eyes and all that kind of stuff. I was like, what? And you can even see like when we were watching it in like the whole chronological order thing. So whenever you see it in him in Avengers, I'm like, oh, okay. He looks normal now. It doesn't look like he, I don't know, lost a bet or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad I've not noticed this yet. So now, like, I'm terrified to rewatch Thor.
I'll text you an image of it later.
No, don't ruin my life.
Should text it with like when you text it and send it with like the goat screaming thing with it.
I actually pulled that since you brought it up.
That's me.
My wife made a comment about like, I'm so glad. Like she was like, I'm glad when he turned back from the Void to Bob, he lost that terrible dye job.
Right.
Which, if you'll recall, I made a comment leaving. I was like, I really liked Lewis Pullman as Bob, as Sentry, whatever you want to call him. But I was like, Stephen Yeun was originally up for the role. And I got to be honest with you, I'm like, Stephen Yeun would have fucking killed this role. Like, if you've ever seen the show Beef with him in it, like, dude can go dark. Like, that's one thing we really haven't seen from him, with like him being Glenn and Invincible and stuff like that. But he can be a really dark character. So I was like, he would have fucking killed that. But I do like, don't get me wrong, I do like they got a equally as good choice with Lewis Pullman.
I was going to ask that. Like, Lewis Pullman, I feel like knocked it out of the park, hitting all the different variations of Bob in his emotional spectrum that he has.
Yeah.
And including the Void. But like you said, like, Stephen Yeun was like rumored to be the Sentry, so much so that Robert Kirkman was like, oh yeah, he's in a fitting for the Sentry.
Mm-hmm.
And spoiled that. And then everything went to shit with that. And so I was going to ask, like, I guess I'm asking you, Jeremy, like, would you have rather seen Stephen Yeun in this role?
I guess to Richard's point, it would have been nice to see him in, because I only really have seen him as Glenn.
Same.
So, just because of that, I didn't know. At first, my feeling is I didn't think he would fit that role very well.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the only role I've seen him in. So I don't know. I mean, I think he's a great actor. So I'd have been excited to see him.
Yeah.
But again, like what y'all were saying too, is I think the actor hit it out of the park on this one. Like, he did a great job. Like, you could easily see like his emotions changing and his just the way he was acting and everything. So it was I think he did a great job with it.
Yeah. No, that would have been me, because I've not seen him in anything outside of The Walking Dead. Like, I've not seen Beef or anything like that. This has got the same director as Beef, doesn't it? And that was another tie.
I want to say
director.
writer.
Okay,
it could have been
maybe
the
it is
director.
right.
I don't know. Let me look that up real quick.
But I think there was something else that was tied to Beef, and that's a whole other reason why Stephen Yeun was like rumored and cast or whatever, lightly cast, whatever the case was. In talks. We'll just say in talks. So I love the flow of this movie. Like, we talked about it earlier, just a tiny little smidge, but like, I love how this movie just, it like, there was times to like settle down, but there was never a boredom. There was never a time
Yeah.
for me, anyways. There was never a time where I'm just like, can we get past this part? Can we go to more action? Can we, like, if it wasn't, them trying to escape a building where they're trying to get, murdered in, or they're a car chase scene, or ramming a car into a building, or fighting somebody in somebody else's subconscious, like, I don't know. I was just like, damn, that's just one thing after another after another. It was
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed that too. And the other thing we were talking about was like, I enjoyed the comedy in this one. Like it was like it wasn't. It was. I think we had talked about it too, where we were a little worried, with Red Guardian being a little too Red Guardian type thing, but thankfully, again with his little soundbite, like we didn't get the screaming goats in this one. Like it wasn't to that extreme, and so I was. Because it was one of those, it was just back to the to like what I feel like Marvel was as far as comedy type thing, like where they started off and adding those in, like with Iron Man and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so thankfully, what's his face, Tata Watini didn't get this one.
Take one.
Yeah.
Jake Schreier is the director of the Thunderbolts, and yes, he was also the director of Beef. So,
nice. Okay.
Yes, as a matter of fact, Jeremy, I have a specific note written down that I was very worried about Red Guardian, considering the What If episode.
Yeah.
Where him and Bucky go on like a road trip or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was just far too annoying in that episode. He was used my note is he was used quite appropriately here. And one of my favorite jokes is when they get out of the bunker, the like incinerator bunker, and he shows up and he's like, he jumps out of the limo and he's like, "It's me, Alexei, your father. Don't go to the bunker. It's a trap," or whatever. and Yelena's like, "Oh God."
Yeah. I thought that was great too. And his whatever bottle, his bathroom bottle, just
his big gulp. Yeah. I love
rolling around back there.
He's like, "Don't drink from that. Did you know how America is so big?" He's like, "I've been driving all night and day." I love when he activates the like countermeasures when they're getting shot at, and it starts playing the like stripper music, and the smoke and the lights kick on, and Yelena's like, "Who are you driving in this car?"
I also want to take note and mention something as far as like the last time we got people who were supposed to have an accent in these movies was Elizabeth Olsen, and I can't remember the actor's name that was playing Quicksilver.
Shoot. I know his name. Give me a second. I'll look it up. Anyway.
I was going to say, I keep making you look things up, apparently. But anyways, their accent went fairly quickly. Like they transitioned to English like rather quickly. Whereas like Florence Pugh and David Harbour, I feel like they have stuck with their accents, and I like it, honestly. Like I do. I have no problems with it. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Kraven.
Yes, thank you, Kraven. Yeah.
Oh, he played Kraven.
Yeah, he plays Kraven in the new Kraven the Hunter Sony villain verse movie. And he doesn't use a Russian accent in that movie either.
There's probably a good reason why.
I mean, yeah, but never mind. That's a whole nother thing, I guess. But yeah, I love that they do the accents very well. I mean, I think that it would, to me, knowing these characters, like it'd be weird that if they didn't have an accent, like the things wouldn't be nearly as like the comedy wouldn't land as much. I feel like if they didn't have their accents too. So yeah, I enjoy them, and they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoy them as well. I'm glad that they're sticking with them. Elizabeth Olsen, I think, tried to bring it back, and was it Multiverse of Madness? Or I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's weird that she went from sounding like Eastern European to just like an American person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, like, technically, like, people with accents, once they live in a country for X amount of time, they start to lose that accent. But still, it's very weird because it happened so abruptly between like
Right.
Age of Ultron to what was it, Civil War? I can't remember when it was.
Yeah. 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 I think that was her next appearance. So, one thing I think we were all worried about was the name Thunderbolts.
I was going to ask
and
you
how
about
it was
this.
going to come from her soccer league. What are y'all's thoughts about this now, knowing the entire story of it?
I thought it was pretty funny. Like, I mean, I thought it was cool seeing that. And also what helped it was like, obviously was Red Guardian. I can't remember his actual. What's his name? Alexi, that's what it was. I love his like reaction to whenever he hears the Thunderbolts and looks over at Yelena like, and just like
he's for someone who's not like her real dad, quote like her biological dad. He's such a like proud dad.
Yeah.
I'm just so like I'm kind of torn because it does work for this movie. If you hear it like on paper, like when we heard the rumors, it's like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
Right.
But like they were never going to make Thunderbolt Ross head of the Thunderbolts.
Right.
With the post-credit name change, like it was never meant to be the Thunderbolts. That's one of the things that I think the twist that we saw coming from a fucking mile away.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I said, it works, but I would have liked to have been like the traditional Thunderbolts, but none of these characters are really villains that were in prison. They were just all like assassins that were like kind of just caught. Like it's honestly, this movie's just Guardians. If you look at it in a certain way, like it's a ragtag of people who do like morally gray things. Some of them more so on the gray side, and at the end they defeat the villain by like with like love, if you will. Like,
right.
They instead of holding hands, they hug it out or whatever. It's very Guardians like. And
yeah.
Matter of fact, my wife said this, I thought it was a funny joke, but she said Thunderbolts is out here in the trenches with the male loneliness epidemic.
That's funny. I thought it was very fitting. Like I love that Marvel proved me wrong, honestly, because like I feel like that's the best. When Marvel proves me wrong, that's the best. Like I was very skeptical of Doctor Strange when it first came out, and Benedict Cumberbatch freaking knocked it out. One of my favorite characters now. And then I was even more I was skeptical with Ant-Man, I was skeptical with Guardians. And then when Ant-Man came out, I was skeptical of that. And then after that, I've been like, you know what, Marvel, you can't do any wrong until, this phase now.
Until you did.
But like, until you did. And then you continuously did wrong. But like, I love that. That's like top tier Marvel for me when they prove me wrong. And it makes complete sense in this movie for it to essentially be a nickname. Like you get with a group of friends and somebody grabs a nickname because you all are all joking around or whatever the case is. And then the nickname just sticks. And like, that's exactly what this reminds me of, is like the team got a nickname, like, and it just stuck.
Yeah.
So, until the credits.
Yeah. This also felt like it was a Yelena and like Bob like movie. Like I know the other characters in there, but it felt mostly like it was around Yelena and Bob. So it makes sense for it to be like her, like that name is connected to her somehow.
Yeah. And I want to touch on like there was a lot in the beginning of all this, like when all this stuff was changing and whatnot, a lot of people talking about, like we've talked about it before, the wokeness or whatever of the movies and stuff. And I, just like Captain America, Brave New World, I didn't feel like there was any agenda or anything at all being pushed at all in this movie. I just felt like this was just a great story with a movie. Yes, it talked about mental health, and that I don't feel like that was even forced down my throat, though. Like I felt like there was just enough of that to move the story along.
Okay. So like, I don't think they've shoved anything down our throats. So like,
Well,
I don't understand what your point being.
I feel like we're going like I don't feel like the MCU is necessarily back. But I feel like if they keep making steps like this, like going this way, then I feel like we will eventually get back to where we were.
Yeah.
That's the hopes anyways. And I feel like they're introducing characters. It doesn't feel like the characters are being forced down our throats. It doesn't feel like the movies are being made just to introduce characters. I don't feel like there's like you might not have felt it, but I was feeling like there was like agenda type stuff going on in some of the movies. But like, I don't feel like that here. And like, you do have a main woman as, you know, the leader of this group and of this movie. And I don't feel like it's a girl power movie. Just like I didn't feel like The Marvels was a girl power movie.
Yeah. Well, what other anyway, we'll have to talk about that on a separate episode or something. Cause I'm like, sorry, you've triggered me now. Cause I'm just like,
I know this.
Well, I'm like, Michael, I mean, come on, man. You've never seen Alien, but like we've had girl-led movies for fucking ever, and it's not
right.
Woke. Like, fuck off with the woke thing. Like, it just triggers me. Like, seriously, get the fuck out. Like,
I say the woke thing not to necessarily trigger you, but just as a common, like, that's what's been said in the past. Not necessarily
by,
from us.
Fucking incels. like literally, She-Hulk made fun of them.
I agree.
So like, it just pisses me off like that because like, I'm so tired of everyone like, oh no, it's a black person. A black person's in a movie. It's woke now. Oh, I'm shaking oh no. Like, but I could care less.
That's my point, though. They sat there and they did Brave New World, and like that was normal. That was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, there was not like necessarily. I guess you go with Sabra. There was not a main character in that movie that was necessarily white. Harrison Ford. I mean, okay, but like, I don't know. That was my point. But like, we're getting to a point where we can finally just like have. Like that, like those kinds of characters.
I just think they're making better movies, and that the pandemic fucked over a lot of like especially because like this movie isn't like the greatest movie, but it's also not bad.
Correct. Yeah. I agree.
And same thing with Deadpool. Like it wasn't the greatest movie, but I enjoyed it a lot because I like, you know, dark humor, if you will. But
yeah,
I think they've just had a run of really bad movies. Unfortunately, it is hurting them because box office wise, it's not doing great. But
well, and I didn't think it was necessarily because that's why I was talking about the seating at the very beginning of this episode.
I was going to talk about it at the end, but I'll just talk about it since we're talking about it right here. This currently, it made. Let me pull this up real quick. Domestically, it made 76 million, 86.1 million overseas for 162.1 million worldwide. Ranking it out of all 36 Marvel movies, it is ranked 28th as like for its opening weekend. Now, I have a feeling that word of mouth, this may do better in the long haul.
I'm hoping so.
Because I have a feeling that people are going to be like, it's actually pretty good, and you should see it because of the thing at the end of the trailer, at the end of the credits. Like, there's a thing that directly ties into the next movie.
The Fantastic Four spaceship comes out of space, y'all. That's
well, that and I was going to say the new Avengers title.
The new Avengers title, yes.
And that may get people in seats again. But I also think that it's really fucking expensive and nobody... Because, I forget. Like, there was a whole article I was reading, but there's been like 4 or 5... because people have been like, oh, I'm so tired of sequels. I'm so tired of remakes and reboots and Marvel movies. I want like original content. And there's been like, I don't know, 7 or 8 new original movies, and they've all bombed at the box office because nobody is going to see it.
Yeah, but then you have something like Sinners with Michael B. Jordan and what's his name from Ryan Coogler, and it has like a 6% drop from week 1 to week 2, which is like unheard of.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's one of the ones.
I want to see that so bad.
Yeah, I do too. Actually, that's one of the ones I wanted to see. Mickey 17. I didn't get a chance to see that, and something about like killing a rainbow or not rainbow, killing a unicorn or something like that. Death of a unicorn.
Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's that. I wanted to talk also about the stunts in this movie because just about every what?
I'm saying I don't think this new Avengers thing is gonna get people back in the seat.
Really?
I think they're because leaving that like, and my wife is one of them. Like, she's like, these are why are they naming them the Avengers? These are not these don't sit as the Avengers to me or whatever. And I think, for one, is you would have to end up going back and watching other things to try and figure out who these people were to some extent. And I think, and what I was telling my wife about it is, they pumped out so many of these other characters so fast that they were trying to get people to latch onto them, and they were just trying to throw all of them out there, saying so they could create this other team because they were like, hey, we made it so successful back here, we're going to do this in with these other characters now to try and get it back. And it was not, for one, it was done on Disney Plus, which was the dumbest idea in a series type thing to do, because I get like some of it was during pandemic, so you couldn't go to the movie theater necessarily, and that messed it up. So obviously that's playing against them. But you put out mediocre series and then hope that people are going to latch on to it, and then be able to kind of create from that. Whenever that's not, you miss the whole point there. And so I don't think putting Avengers on there is necessarily going to get people to want to see it, because they're going to be like, I don't even know who these people are. Why do I care? Like, what's going to happen as these Avengers necessarily? Like, just because, I mean, whenever you had the Avengers, you had these other movies that people already got attached to before Avengers came out and actually built it up and actually cared about them. Now, and again, like, these can be good. I enjoy, like I've said in this is like, I enjoy Elena and Alexi, and I enjoy, they're the main two that Walker, he can go right off the cliff. I don't really care.
But real quick, Jeremy, he is exactly what he is in the comic books. He's an asshole. Like, he's just an asshole.
Yeah, and I get that. So I mean,
now I want you to read one of his stories.
Me?
No.
Oh, okay.
Jeremy.
I was going to say, because I have. It was one of the ones that I was trying to get us to read, that it takes place after Avengers Forever, what we read. It's when they turn the planet into a prison.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Turns Earth into a prison.
So, I mean, I hope, I'm going to tell people to go see it. If anybody asks me, like, if it was good or not. Well, yeah, sorry. I think you kind of figure from what I've said on this already that I enjoy it. And so, like, I mean, I hope that people go see it, and I hope that it seems like it's starting to come back. But at the same time, like, again, this new Avengers stuff, I don't know, between that and then the stupid stunt with the chairs that they're doing, like, they're not instilling a whole lot of hope and confidence.
Well, hang on now. You said you and Michael both said that was genius.
It was genius.
I get
it, but it was genius.
Yes, I did. I will still stand behind that. But
before we get away from this thought, Jeremy, because you watched WandaVision, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That, if you hadn't watched that, Multiverse of Madness would have been weird for you. Do you not think it's just because you just didn't watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Because for the reason why I don't like Walker?
Yeah, well, the reason why you're saying all this about, like, my wife, didn't like these characters or whatever, and because it was on sorry, Michael distracted me with the my wife thing. On the whatever, on
Disney Plus.
Thank you, the Disney Plus thing. I'm floundering over here.
I mean, I guess it could possibly, but I mean, I've also seen the other ones. The only one that I haven't seen is the Falcon Winter Soldier, and they were at one point doing young / new whatever puberty Avengers, whatever. Like, I don't know what they were doing, and I didn't care for that to happen.
Yeah.
At the same time, like,
No, I agree.
So-
Like the Young Avengers, I don't think anyone really cares other than like
yeah.
the actors that are going to be in those roles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so, but I'm not necessarily, I'm intrigued to see what they're wanting to do as new Avengers and what they're wanting to do with all that. But I don't, being as like, I don't think that that's going to be the hook to get people to see this movie. I think that there's more, and I don't know, I could be wrong. I mean, maybe it could be that people would be like, well, why are they calling these people the Avengers? But so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I hope that it brings people in. I hope people, and like I kind of like with you, Richard, as far as what you're saying is word of mouth. I agree. I think the people that went to see it are going to really enjoy it and still pass along to go see this movie, and hopefully that'll bring it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be interested to know of the 30, would you say 36, 37 movies,
Yes.
like how it does rated on the ones that have been released since the pandemic.
Well, these are opening weekend. All right. So, all right. I'll just go down the list real quick. All right. I was worried we were going to do this, but number 1 is Endgame. Number 2 is No Way Home. Infinity War is number 3. 4 is Deadpool and Wolverine. The original Avengers is number 5. 6 is Black Panther. 7 is Age of Ultron. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is 8. Black Panther.
That's an amazing character right there. The Black Panda. You don't want to fuck with him, man.
Kills you with hugs.
And bamboo shoots.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever is number 9.
What?
Yes. Number
No.
10. Yes.
That's stupid.
Number 10 is Captain America Civil War. Number 11 is Iron Man 3. Number 12 is Captain Marvel. Number 13 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Took that long?
Number
Lord.
14 is, this is going to be triggering, Thor Love and Thunder.
Oh,
Fuck
geez.
me.
Number 15 is Iron Man 2. Number 16 is Thor Ragnarok. Number 17 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Number 18 is Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 19 is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 20 is Iron Man. Number 21 is Captain America the Winter Soldier. Number 22 is Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. 23 is Spider-Man Far From Home. 24 is Captain America Brave New World. 25 is Thor the Dark World. 26 is Doctor Strange. 27 is Black Widow. 28 is Thunderbolts. And I'm going to keep going, but I just want to add a little tidbit here of like, that one hurt when I saw, because I was like, Black Widow came out like the height of the pandemic. Like it was released in theaters, but no one was really going to it. So they put it on streaming for like $20. And I'm like, that hurts in my opinion, because
Yeah.
like for opening weekend, that's real bad. Ant-Man and the Wasp is 29. Shang-Chi is 30. Eternals 31. The original first Thor is 32. Captain America, the first one, the first Avenger, 33. Ant-Man 34. 35. Incredible Hulk. And 36. The Marvels.
Wow.
So only one post-pandemic
Boo.
movie after Thunderbolts right now.
Oh, wait, when now? I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
Only one post-pandemic movie.
Yeah, the Marvels.
The Marvels is after
Yeah.
the Thunderbolts, right? As of right now, this recording.
So I was going to say, like, if you look at them, like, as far as the ones that are the most, I guess, hyped after the pandemic, you have the Deadpool, and then Captain America, then Thunderbolts, and then the Marvels. I get Deadpool being its number one, because I mean, obviously everybody loved the other two Deadpools, and
Yeah.
then throwing Wolverine in there, that just automatically and that was just going to be a success. Like that was just a given, basically.
Lightning in a
And then-
bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Captain America. I mean, obviously, like everybody loves Captain America, and so I get that one would be higher than this one. I understand that as far like because at least it's a name that people know, Captain America. Like not necessarily that they knew who Sam Wilson was, like unless obviously again you pay attention to the other Captain America movies and listen to all that, but just based off of the main title of Captain America, I could see that. I mean, whenever you see
Familiar hero
Thunderbolts,
name.
yeah,
Gotcha.
you see Thunderbolts and see the people in it, you don't necessarily have any kind of attachment to them necessarily.
Yeah.
So,
which was the worry. I mean, like I said
Yes.
last week was that movies Disney does this, all movies do this, where they'll, I don't know where they do it, but they used to do it in malls, but they would like just grab like a bunch of random people and be like, hey, you want to go see a Marvel movie? And they're like, sure. And they're like, cool, sign this NDA. And like they go in, they go see the movie, and then they come out and they go like, hey, what'd you like about the movie? What would you rate it from blah, blah, blah to blah, blah, blah? And they did that with this movie, and it was not tracking well. And then the reviews came out, and all the reviews were like, you know what? It's pretty good. It's kind of a breath of fresh air. I'm so tongue tied tonight. A breath of fresh air. And then, like I said, Marvel was like, oh, fuck, we got to market this. We didn't market this because we thought it was going to bomb. So then we're just like, here's everything.
Yeah. Well, that kind of okay, so now that makes me ask, would it have been better for them to just go ahead and name it the New Avengers? I almost think that would have brought in more confusion.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think they would have done that because then everybody like, where the heck did this come from? Like, and what's going on?
I don't know. To me, it's like a double-edged sword because part of me is like, do it, absolutely do it, and then they would be like for the average like whatever, my mom or something, like, okay, maybe I'll go see this since it's got the New Avengers, and I'll see what the New Avengers are all about. But at the same time, there's those other people who are like, who the fuck are these guys? Why does that one guy look like Santa Claus? Like,
and like that's also like you go into it based off of previous movies that are called Avengers, and it's not anywhere near that. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just not the same thing as like those previous Avengers movies.
No, I agree. I think personally, my new Avengers movie would have been Sam, whatever team Sam's gonna have.
Yeah.
And that should have come like I said, the Captain America Brave New World movie should have been like the third fucking movie out of phase 4 or whatever the fuck number it is now. I've lost track of all these. And then we got an Avenger movie by the end of that phase.
And we should have had this movie sooner too. My opinion. Because
I
it tied
agree.
a lot of loose ends. This movie tied up a lot of loose ends.
I absolutely agree. I was thinking like this should be the 4th or 5th movie since Endgame.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Avengers Tower, Where Did Ghosts Go? Taskmaster, like this, and I'm missing something else. There's like 4 strings that I had tied. Oh, John Walker.
Yeah.
Like this tied up a lot of things.
The end of Black Widow, basically, when Valentina shows up to Yelena.
Hawkeye helped with that a little bit, but you still would have had to have watched Hawkeye on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yes, for those that didn't watch the Disney Plus shows, yes, this absolutely would have felt with that as well. So, yeah, no, I think we should have got this sooner as well.
Yeah, agreed. I'm just going to burn through just a couple of cool things that I like. The Marvel logo, I'm going to refer to whenever,
I like that.
When people get killed by the void, I'm just going to call it getting voided. So I like the Marvel logo getting voided. I think that's cool. There's a shot right off in like the first, like when Yelena's doing her like secret covert mission in that lab. I noticed, my wife did, and I had to point it out to her, but there was like 2 guys that were like voided, like sitting, or they were like falling backwards on like next to a bed or whatever. And it was just in the background in a shot with Yelena talking to the guard that she had like tied up. And I was like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
And then we see that later on in the movie when we actually get okay, no, that's nice. I thought that now.
I cannot claim I noticed this, but I was watching New Rockstars today, and I thought it was cool enough to mention. But where she's fighting all the guards in the hallway, that shot in a very particular way. It's like top down, but it's lit from like the back. And the reason they did it is the shadows stretch really far out, invoking that same like void effect, because Yelena is kind of dealing with her own void. Like the start of the movie is like, you kind of wonder if she's killing herself. Like she's just jumping off a building. Yeah. And I thought that was cool. I mentioned the stunts. I didn't get to finish that thought, but the stunts were practical. So all the car flips that you see in this movie are real cars. They're not CGI cars. They're actually cars that flip. Yelena jumping off the building. I forget the name of that building, but it's the second highest building in the world. She
Sears Tower?
No,
not that.
No. It's a foreign country's tower. I can't remember the name. It's like something 18.
Marvel
but anyway,
a fit about that.
Yes.
They were not about her, because she didn't do the parachuting from what I understand.
No, she did not. That's what I was going to say, is a stunt double did the parachuting part, but she jumped off the side of the building a la like a Mission Impossible movie where there's like a crane that has like a harness on hers, and they like CGI out the harness and everything, but she physically jumped off that building. That shot you see her is Florence Pugh literally doing that stunt.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Her and the director, if I remember right, had to fight to allow her to get there to do that.
Yeah, I was reading something. She contacted Feige herself and like begged him to do it. Like, so she could do it. And anyway, he maybe she showed her like pouty face, because she's known to do that like iconic cry face. The last thing I have is just the post-credit stuff, Michael. And I figured you'd want to get into that a little bit before we wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to say. What do you got, Jeremy?
No, yeah, that's what I was kind of heading towards too, with the whole new Avengers and all that stuff. So
yeah. So we get the screen title of the new Avengers. That's what they're being called. Valentina introduced them to the world as the new Avengers, the team. And but we also get this other post-credit scene of not only Alexei in the supermarket trying to show off his Wheaties box to some mother in there, but
don't be gross, Tammy.
I didn't even mean it like that. But also the Fantastic Four coming out of orbit into the 616, the cinematic 616 universe. Let's not trigger Richard on that.
Yes. No. We'll be here for another hour.
So I think we triggered him enough.
Yes.
So yeah, we get the Fantastic Four, which is coming out in July. I don't know. I'm still not hyped for the Fantastic Four at all. So I think that's kind of like, that needs to be a good movie though. Like that needs to really be a good movie to like really set Marvel's path back to where it needs to be, but or where I would like it for it to be.
I agree.
So we were watching it, I was like, oh, okay. So that kind of gives away a little bit of like what we were talking about before, as far as it maybe like their universe or whatever not working out, and so now they're and now in this universe or whatever. So
my wife
was like, oh, okay, so that means that John Krasinski is going to be Fantastic Four. I was like, no, that's not what I was saying. She's like, no, he's going to be in this universe now. So now we got rid of that one where it's not John Krasinski, and we're going to go and actually make it really John Krasinski like it should be. And I was like, that's not what I was saying.
It's already confused her.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, like, they show the four on the side of the spacecraft, and it's the same looking spacecraft as the one from the trailers for the Fantastic Four. So, like, everything leads me to believe this is connected to that movie that we're going to get here in a couple months. And yeah, I assume the worst for their universe as well. Like, that's
yeah. My note was those poor people, they all gonna die.
So that whole, are we safe? I don't know. Turns into,
no, you're fucked.
Bye. That's another one of those where, like, where they were talking about, again, referencing back to the chairs of like going ahead and giving away that, everybody in the Thunderbolts, who was going to make it through that. Well, this kind of gives away what's going to happen in Fantastic Four a little bit. So
Yeah, my
it's
wife mentioned that about like, well, that's kind of a big spoiler.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What if, here's my theory, or not theory, but I had a thought about that. What if it lands and the pod opens or whatever, the doorbay opens and Doom comes out?
Mm.
Like, that's the start of Doomsday is like, because I'm also wondering, I'm like, what if this is all just a trick from Doom, and that's what's kicking off Doomsday, and in the start of Doomsday is we see the Fantastic Four ship land on 616, and Doom does a classic Doom move of like, it was me all along.
I think Doom's out in the multiverse fucking around right now. I think he is being Doom behind the scenes, and I think that's what we're gonna get in Doomsday is the backstory of where he has been this entire time.
Gotcha.
So, but it would be funny. It would be cool. I also think that Doom is from the, what is it, 868 or 86, I don't know, whatever. The one from Multiverse of Madness, the empty chair.
The
That's
one
up
with
there.
the Illuminati.
Yes, I think that empty chair was
838.
Yeah, 838. Yeah, that sounds right. I think that's where Doom's from. Honestly, I think that's exactly.
That makes sense.
I think he's pissed off. I think the Ultron bots that are there, I think those are going to be like the Doom bots. I think that's where we're going to get Doom from. And he's going to be pissed off. He's going to be coming, and he's going to know about Monica Rambeau because they know all about the multiverse.
Yeah,
that 838, they knew all about the multiverse. They were naming them.
Yeah, because they had Reed there,
right? So
I like that theory. I like that theory out of all the like, oh, this Doctor Doom is from blah, blah, blah. That's the one that works for me, in my opinion. A couple of things, though, in that, not just the Fantastic Four, but there were some little tidbits mentioned. Sam is apparently suing for the trademark of, they say copyright, but it's the trademark of the Avengers title. I wonder if that is implying that Jen Walters is on his team since she's a lawyer.
Oh.
There's only two like famous lawyers in the Marvel universe, and one of them is Daredevil, the other is Jen. So I'm like, maybe that implies that she's on the team. The other thing that I doubt we'll see this, but they were like, well, did you talk with him? And he's like, I did. And they're like, well, how'd it go? And he's like, not well. I'm like, is this a setup for Civil War 2? Are we going to have Bucky? Like, you know how Battle World had villains and heroes face like original Battle World, like original Secret Wars, not the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars.
Yeah,
it was like a test of good versus evil, and they had villains versus heroes.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it going to be Bucky's team versus Cap's team on like Battle World or something? And it's going to be like a Civil War 2 kind of thing. And I was like, God, I hope not.
No, I hope we don't see that.
Yeah. Same.
The
last two things is with Alexei showing up in his fucking NASCAR outfit. Like, what the fuck was that? I didn't even, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even recognize David Harbour. And I was like, who the fuck is this asshole? And then he starts speaking, and I was like, oh God. But I like the joke of like, I figured out the way where Avengers with Z, you know. But I was like, maybe by the end of all this, we'll either get the Mighty Avengers. Maybe Sam could call himself that. Maybe Thor's on the team. I could see a joke of Thor being like, we should call ourselves the Mighty Avengers. Like, and then we get New Avengers, Mighty Avengers, or more likely, I'm thinking it's going to be East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see the West Coast Avengers and just the Avengers. I don't like the beef between Sam and Bucky.
Yeah,
like that's one of the things that kind of threw me off. Like they're gonna fight over a name. Like that's
well, especially what they had in the Captain America movie, where he was trying to like Bucky and Sam had that little conversation there. So yeah, I don't get that either.
Well, and even more so, they spent a whole TV show like bonding.
Yeah.
Like that was like, one of the big things about that TV show was them two like coming together.
Yeah. They were at odds at the start, and then by the end they're like best friends.
Yeah. Very much an odd couple type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like all that's thrown away over a name. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it may be nothing, but I just was wondering when I heard that. The other thing I don't like is I don't like the redesigned Avengers A. I think it looks like ass.
that's funny. I guess I didn't pay too much attention. That's funny. Cool. Y'all got anything else to say?
I think that's about it.
No, that's it for me. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. There was just fun little tidbit. Movies do this, especially Marvel movies. They give them like aliases. They don't call, like, when they're filming the Thunderbolts, they don't say, hey, we're filming the Thunderbolts. They usually give it a fake name.
Right.
The one for this one was called Oops, All Berries.
Oops, all berries.
I think because of the Wheaties like stuff in the movie.
Oh,
My wife
that's
made a
funny.
funny joke, though. She was like, they should have called it Fiddle Faddle.
Fiddle. That's for the Daredevil movie.
Which apparently is a real cereal. I did not know that. But anyway.
Well, the working title for Doomsday is For All Time, I believe. So leading to like possibly a TVA presence. But that's for another show. So in the meantime,
Yeah.
Jeremy, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitch under the handle Night Fury GTO. That's Night with a K. And you can find me here.
Awesome. Richard, where can they find you at?
If you want to contact me directly, I have an X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram, a Blue Skies, and a Threads. My handle is Night Curry, night like day and night, and curry with a K. If you want to contact us directly, we have a Gmail. Our Gmail is comicallycomicspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to check us out on YouTube, possibly TikTok, we'll see, and Instagram, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics Podcast. And if you want to check us out on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics with an X. Copyright bots be damned.
They don't get us for that one.
Oh.
You can find me on Instagram, eBay, and
Damn.
Shortbox, 22_comics. You can also find me on YouTube at 22 Comics. Thank y'all so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed as much as we did make it. Well, all that being said, may the force be with you, Jeremy.
Michael, I am your father.
Use the force, Michael. Use it.
I'm not happy, Bob. Not happy.